we have Raila Odinga, who I want to quote here, saying that perpetrators of historical injustices have ganged up to suffocate his deal with President Kenyatta. And of course, this is in reference to the handshake. Who do you think he's referring to in this scenario? Of course, again, he says in the quote that it is our hope that the handshake could inspire other struggling countries with similar problems to those of Kenya. So what does Raila Odinga's political mathematics look like going forward after the handshake? Even as President Kenyatta came out to say that there's no need for referendum. DP Ruto said there's no need for referendum, even as Raila proposed one during the Kakamega conference on devolution.
All right, thank you so much. The referendum doesn't need presidential approval to go through. Whether Uhuru supports it or not, it will come and it will go through. In fact, I tend to think that Raila Odinga has gone out there to look for money for referendum. Okay. The thing is coming.
You mean his trip to London is all about getting some cash to bankroll the referendum?
Yes, looking for resources for referendum, and we should all be ready for a referendum. It's not about referendum is coming or not. It is obviously coming. The question that each person should ask, him or herself, is whether you're going to be on the side of a no or yes, because referendum is coming. The perpetrators of historical injustices, we should remember that in '92 and the first multi-party election, there are a lot of people who died in Rift Valley. In fact, over 5,000 people, more than any other record on political death that we have.
Were they documented officially by the government?
Yes, over 5,000. And then in '97 also there was a lot of death around Molo, Nakuru, and all those were cosmopolitan parts of Rift Valley. And those historical injustices, it points out when Raila says that they have ganged up, I tend to believe, and I have a feeling that is trying to allude to the fact that is aware of people who are involved in YK92, which was a youth wing that was perpetrating a lot of atrocities and a lot of fear using the KANU as a tool. And some of this YK92 are the people who have found themselves in the government right now, and they're the people who are now ganging up to try to suffocate the deal because they thrive. If the president alluded to that fact at the burial of the memorial service for the late Matiba, when he said that there are people who thrive when there is a lot of chaos and instability in the country, and Raila has also alluded to it. And some of these people, we know them by their names, though we cannot mention because of the new law. I thank God somebody has gone to court to challenge it.
Coming to you, Sadia, when President Kenyatta and William Ruto met in Afraha Stadium and agreed to join forces during the TNA and the URP, the National Alliance, and of course the United Republican Party, they signed an agreement which was to stand up until and beyond 2022. Even we have seen in the first half year of President Kenyatta's administration, Deputy President saying that this is an administration that will go forward and rule until 2032. Fast forward to today, it seems that it will prove to be fatal, considering the ultimatums just recently by Rift Valley MPs seeking assurity on President Kenyatta whether he's going to support Ruto or not. And just of yesterday, members of parliament from central Kenya have gone disquiet and expressed dissatisfaction with regards to President Kenyatta, who they say has not so far come out to pledge his support for the DP in 2022. So looking at it from in terms of the political undertones happening, undercurrents within the Jubilee Party, what is the top priority for this party? Because I believe the Jubilee Party is not a dead party. It's a living document. It lives to stand according to the Political Parties Act. So where does this debate seem ending?
Thank you. The top priority for the Jubilee Party, since it's the ruling party, it's to basically development. This is the last term for President Uhuru Kenyatta. So this is the time he needs to leave his legacy. That is the top priority. For him, he has not much interest in the succession politics of 2022 because his term is ending this time. So his top priority will be development, and he needs to leave a legacy. Then Ruto needs him because they made a vow that he'll support him in 2022. I like the way he's playing down the cries that he should declare his position now. The handshake was basically for development. The political part of the handshake may not bear much fruits, but the development part of the handshake may bear a lot of fruits.
But even as you say that it was about development, look at what Raila Odinga says. I quote him, that we agreed with President Kenyatta to make changes I insist again, to make changes, if we are to have a nation, we are not in any way deluded that these changes will come easy. What does Raila Odinga mean?
He actually accepts that there will be rebellion. Now that the way they describe the handshake as a two-person affair, they are clear to the fact that there will be rebellion, especially from Ruto, and it will cause a lot of threats. So that is basically the threats they foresee. But I think what they were trying to do on the handshake, they were trying to borrow maybe from Seychelles. Because Seychelles, after the elections, the reason why they are really praised for good public service is that they incorporate the opposition in development. They incorporate the opposition in the cabinet, and it works so well in terms of development. That does not mean that the country stops having a strong opposition to criticize the development, but to criticize the government and be a watchdog to the government. But they can, when they are electing the cabinet, they choose based on qualification. Are you qualified to bring development to this nation, as opposed to, are you a member of my party? So when the president tries to prioritize development, as opposed to declaring that Ruto is his best candidate for 2022, or Raila is his best candidate for 2022, I think that is the best the president should do, and the best he's doing. Yes.
Okay, Daniel, coming to you. We have seen the 14-member committee led by Ambassador Martin Kimani and lawyer Paul Mwangi, which have so far sat and, of course, are expected to come up with recommendations with regards to the way forward about the handshake, the content. But so far, the entire process is shrouded in secrecy, as I mentioned earlier. The content is unknown. But lawyer Paul Mwangi has come out to say that in the event they'll need, they need to move forward, and they might find themselves in a delicate situation, then they will not shy away from coming back and seeking advice from the patrons. And of course, this is President Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. What does he mean by saying so, by making such statement? Are the bells of referendum ringing? And of course, with regard to the political interest attached to this committee, which is going to be also so important for the recommendations that they're going to be bringing forth.
I said here before that 14-member committee, that probably was going to end as a PR exercise. I said this before in this station, and probably that is where it's headed to. And that is, it's already started. The Star has got a very headlines about that today. The risk of the handshake because of the political tones that have begun. So probably the lawyer is admitting that as much as we as a technical team, we are bequeathed with responsibilities and making sure that these 14, the agenda that was purely stated that should be actualized and publicized is not going to work out soon because of a referendum. William Ruto is a political schemer. And I think this is evident from what this guy ran a no campaign single-handedly. You understand by that time? And whether he had some backup support from the NCCK or anywhere, he ran that campaign single-handedly. Secondly, William Ruto knows and I said this before, that if there is one person who knows the master of Raila Odinga, is this guy. And you see, when Raila plans or strategies, the way my friend has said that there is nobody that can be matched to as Raila Odinga, I'm telling you, William Ruto, if all goes and push comes to shove, William Ruto is going to give them a run for their money. This is evidenced by the fact that I would like to say this. The control, first of all, the control of a political decision, it rises around when you're able to mobilize the masses behind you. And I would like to tell you that William Ruto is now targeting Western Kenya, and is making inroads in Western Kenya, whether we like it or not. He's already making inroads in coastal region. He's making inroads in central. And there are people who are even defying their bosses and saying, can our boss, who is the president, actually come out so clear and say that people of central Kenya, we are either going to support Ruto or not. This is not somebody to be taken very lightly. And I'd also like to say from Raila Odinga's side, let me tell you one thing. I admit he's an enigma, and Raila has got a strategy of reincarnation. In each and every political year, he reincarnates himself. Right now, people thought he was going to be out after 2017. He's already reinvented the wheel, and he's very relevant. And probably he's going to vie in 2022. And one thing...
But he said that he is on record for saying that he is not going to be on the ballot in 2022.